your estate to real estate. It's Money Matters with Dino.
When somebody decides to go into business for themselves,
Right.
They can either be a sole proprietor, which I believe that means they work off of their social security number.
Right.
They can get an LLC or a corporation.
Right.
Can you give me a quick breakdown of what the difference is between all of that stuff?
Sure. I mean, and you're exactly right. Essentially, you can operate as a sole proprietor, a corporation, or a limited liability company. As a sole proprietor, you are essentially taxed on all your earnings. You have deductions for it, and then you're subject to income tax, self-employment tax. That income is reported on your individual return, and it's submitted. You pay income tax on there. It doesn't give you any kind of liability protection. It's essentially you operating individually, right? So that's a consideration when you're operating as a sole proprietor that you have to be aware of. If you want to incorporate, you essentially have you have several options, but the main ones for small businesses are typically corporation or what's called limited liability company. There's different requirements, different implications of operating in either scenario. If you're in California, if you're a physician or a CPA or an attorney, you actually are required to organize as a corporation, what's called a professional corporation. So you actually have no choice. You organize as a professional corporation, and then typically you'll make an election with the IRS to make that entity as an S corporation, which gives you better tax benefits. And then the other option is usually an limited liability company. A limited liability company is if you have two or more members, it's typically taxed as a partnership, which is essentially a pass-through entity. So you and I form a partnership, ABC LLC. The ABC LLC earns income. We're 50-50 partners. 50% of the profit goes to you, 50% of the profit goes to me. We report that on our individual return, and we're taxed at our respective individual rates. So that's kind of the general overview of how each of these things operate.